I was in Edinburgh on Saturday, passed through St Andrew's Square. There, unmissable in the centre of the square, is a tall column. And on the top of that column is a statue of Henry Dundas, 1st Viscount Melville. It was raised in 1827 and paid for by public donations 16 years after he died. The 1st Viscount Melville was a prominent Scottish politician, and people wanted to remember and honour him. Today, however, it's controversial, as Viscount Melville was instrumental in delaying the abolition of the repugnant British slave trade. Not the only statue to be controversial. Some are so controversial that they are pulled down. I still remember statues of Saddam Hussein being toppled after the invasion of Iraq. What they've done with the statue of Henry Dundas, they've left it up, but they put a plaque explaining his role in the slave trade. So why are statues erected in the first place? I would suggest it's for one of two reasons. Either, typically after the person has died, by admirers to honour their memory, or sometimes by the person themselves, seeking praise and adoration. The erection and removal of statues is not a new thing. In the UK, the statue of Charles I in Trafalgar Square is London's oldest bronze statue. It was made in about 1633 when he was still king. It was, however, temporarily removed and put into hiding during the English Civil War. Even further back, Pope Sixtus V replaced a statue of the Roman Emperor Trajan with one of the Apostle Peter in 1587. But I'm sure that Peter would not have wanted a statue of himself to be erected, especially as people started to elevate Peter and the popes to a position they should not have. Peter would have been very familiar with God's words. You shall not make idols for yourselves, neither a carved image, nor a sacred pillar shall you rear up for yourselves, nor shall you set up an engraved stone in your land to bow down to it, for I am the Lord your God. When Peter wrote his letters, it was never about himself. It was only about God and his son Jesus. He wanted people to know more about them, not himself. He wrote, "Grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord." But if Peter would not have wanted statues raised to himself, neither would have Jesus. God gave very detailed instructions on the building of the tabernacle, a place of worship. These details include the size, the shape, and the colour of the tents, the furniture that was to be placed in the tabernacle, the altar, the Ark of the Covenant, and the table for the showbread. At no point whatsoever did God instruct a statue or an idol to be built of him. But while God doesn't want a statue of himself, he does look for people to remember him and worship him. Jesus said, "The hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him." Jesus, the Son of God, didn't come into this world so that people would raise statues of him, but neither did he come into this world to be ignored. He does want recognition, but that recognition of him should be in the hearts and minds of the people. But if he wants people to know him, to remember him, and to believe in him, he also wants to bless those people and to save them from the darkness of their sins. He said, "I have come as a light into the world, that whoever believes in me should not abide in darkness." As you walk past a statue, you can choose to stop and look up at it. You may even pause to read the inscription. But most people are too busy and just walk by. This isn't a statue of Jesus I'm pointing to you, but the real person. What will you do? There are numerous statues around Edinburgh. Most people just walk straight past them, and there's no consequence to that. But what about Jesus? Will you stop to remember him? Not a statue, but Jesus, the Son of God, who is now with his Father in heaven. If you remember him and believe in him, you will be saved from your sin, from your disobedience. But if you ignore him, reject him, you will remain in your sin and ultimately be judged for your sin. I'll end with the words of Jesus. He said, "And if anyone hears my word and does not believe, I do not judge him, for I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. He who rejects me and does not receive my words has that which judges him. The word that I have spoken will judge him in the last day."